Hi, I'm Frances O'Roark Dowell, and today I'm going to read an excerpt from my novel, Birds in the Air. Birds in the Air is the story of Emma Byrd, a woman in her early 40s who has just moved up to the North Carolina mountains with her family and has fallen in love with quilts and quilt making. In the excerpt I'm going to read today, Emma is putting together the program for a community quilt show. She's doing this in the local diner where she's drinking coffee and eating donuts. They're up to 49 quilts, with the expectation of 7 more coming in by the end of the week, 3 of those being quilts that Mavis will collect, and 4 that Emma and Letty will pick up on Thursday. Over half the quilts are pre-1900, and most of them have never been displayed in public. This is Emma's hook for publicity, that the show will feature close to 30 never-seen-before historic quilts. She wants to catch the interest of amateur historians and genealogists and Civil War buffs. People who love quilts will show up regardless, she figures, but others can be lured in with the right pitch. Barbara's husband, Ty, has photographed all of the collected quilts, and Emma's created an online album for easy reference. With the books that Barbara has given her, along with the help of several online sites, Emma has been able to name most of the quilt and block patterns, or at least been able to make educated guesses, knowing that Barbara will check after her. Robbing Peter to pay Paul, Drunkard's Path, Tulips in a Basket, Whig Rose, Carolina Lily. Emma loves the names almost as much as she loves the quilts. What surprises her is how much affection she feels for the quilters themselves. What must it have been like to have lived in such isolation, most of your day spent doing what was necessary to survive? And yet these women found time to create beauty and comfort for themselves and their families. Emma can imagine how much they looked forward to the end of the day when they would finally have time to sit by the fire and sew. She knows that feeling herself, though she doesn't work a tenth as hard as the quilters who made these quilts. Still, some days, while she's busy making dinner and packing the children's lunches, she has the thought that it won't be long before she can sit down at her sewing machine. Just thinking about it, her entire body relaxes. Some of the quilts show signs of age and use, but many were clearly valued enough to be carefully stored and only brought out for special occasions. The colors are faded, but the technique is sure and the artistry is undeniable. Emma remembers growing up how boys would say things like, "If women are equal to men, where are all the great women artists?" At the time, she hadn't known how to answer that, unfamiliar as she was in elementary school with artists such as Frida Kahlo, Georgia O'Keeffe, and Mary Cassatt. Now she'd know to send the boys into their houses to check out the quilts their grandmothers had made, the double wedding rings tucked away in linen closets, the Dresden plates draped over the backs of their couches. What she's trying to say in the program, and what has taken her 2 cinnamon rolls to get at, is that all the quilts in this exhibit, from the Baltimore album quilt to Llewellyn Wall's MIA quilt, are connected. They're all part of a project that has spanned centuries, a project in which women sew scraps of fabric together in interesting ways and make art that both comforts and signifies comfort. She thinks about Peggy Weaver, the young woman she and Barbara met the first day they went out to collect quilts. 26 years old, with 3 children under the age of 5, Peggy Weaver dyed her own fabric from things she found in the woods around the trailer where she and her family lived, berries and leaves, even insects. From this hand-dyed fabric, Peggy made quilts of such vibrancy the colors practically jumped off the blocks. The problem is how to say something important about quilts and art and women's lives in 500 words or less.